2 years on from his notorious behaviour on TV in Boiling Point, Gordon Ramsay has it all. He's one of London's best chefs. He's got money, power, machismo, love, A-list celebrity friends.
The food's been absolutely pucker.
And fame. He's even become a sex symbol.
He's got a good-looking body. He's very fit.
But can he control his infamous temper?
Honestly, Friday, do you know what you can do?
Yes, ma'am.
Give you notice.
He says he's changed.
I think my management skills have improved.
Hello? This is a fucking embarrassment.
But what happens behind the scenes when Gordon Ramsay goes beyond Boiling Point?
Gordon.
The 25th of January is an obscure date for most of us, but for the world's top chefs, it's more important than Christmas. It's the day Michelin annually awards its coveted stars to a tiny number of Europe's greatest restaurants. For Gordon Ramsay, who's been stuck on 2 stars for 3 years, getting his 3rd ultimate star has become a total obsession.
Winning 3 Michelin stars. It is my goal.
He's obsessed with it. He never stops thinking about it.
It's his excuse for his behaviour in the kitchen.
Get off the section. Get back on the section, yeah? And there you go. Hello. I just want it dealt with. I want Jean-Claude dealing with it, and I want you dealing with it. That's all. Dominic, how can I call away and serve at the same fucking time? If you tell me. Okay. Christ almighty.
But will the new millennium finally bring the 3 stars that Ramsay craves? Our story starts with 25 days to go. It's New Year's Eve, 1999. Gordon's in the kitchen cooking, whilst his wife Tana is in hospital, about to give birth. She phoned him at midday, but Gordon's in no hurry to get to the hospital.
She's having a cesarean, I think, so I don't really want to be there.
It's 6:30. Tana's just had twins, but still no sign of Gordon.
I'd be a bit more nervous having him there, so to us it just works well that he's there immediately after the birth, and the actual sort of bloody bit is left to the girls.
Finally, at 7:30, Gordon makes it to the hospital.
How are you? Care Tana, Ramsay.
He finds Holly and Jack in the special care unit. 6 weeks premature, they both have problems breathing.
Fantastic. He's a dude, isn't he? The size of his feet. So small.
The problems aren't unusual, but they worry Gordon.
Babies being born at a little under 34 weeks have problems both with breathing, feeding and temperature control.
I was very scared, and I couldn't believe the amount of alarms that were going off, and they just looked so ill. And I just, was praying that, they'd come through.
It's quite upsetting for him to see them having to have tubes and on a ventilator.
And Gordon can only cope with a brief glimpse at Holly before having to leave the room.
Right. I was petrified inside that intensive care unit, yeah. There's very few times in my life that I'm out of control. And very few times that I'm not in control. God.
He's very excited. Although he did say to me this afternoon, can't you hold on till just after midnight? I don't think he's experienced contractions.
But even at times of crisis, Ramsay's still got one thing on his mind, that 3rd Michelin star.
33, a month ago, 3 children. There's only one more 3 I'm waiting for. God almighty. I tell you, I can't get any closer now.
Yes, with only a week to go, Michelin star fever has once again hit London's restaurateurs.
It's all about building consistency.
and increasing your standards year in, year out to meet the demands which are expected.
But the result is a closely guarded secret.
The main reason why chefs at my level respect Michelin is because no one gets close to them.
Except that this year, three-star chefs Marco Pierre-White and Nico Ladenis have caused controversy.
Marco has already announced that he wants to give back his 3 stars, whether Michelin want them back or not. And the other rumour doing the rounds is that Nico has also given back his 3 stars.
I gave my 3 stars back for the simple reason is that, you know, 20 years I'd been in the kitchen, and winning 3 stars was very exciting. It was a major part of my life. Retaining them, I found rather boring.
But Ramsay's making his attitude towards his former employer quite clear, so as to improve his own chances.
Like they rightly said to Marco 3 months ago when he announced his retirement, it's not Marco White's decision to give the 3 stars back. They made that quite clear.
I respect Michelin. I admire what they've done for gastronomy in Britain. I think people's demands have changed.
So Ramsay's the contender, and all he's waiting for is an official visit from Michelin to confirm his new kingly status.
Michelin traditionally send over one of their top honchos from France to have a look before they award 3 stars to anybody. So if he hasn't had that visit from Monsieur Michelin de Paris, then he ain't going to get it.
It's the 20th of January. The pressure's on. There's still been no visit from Michelin. Even worse, Gordon's got a call from an insider who's heard a hot rumour that Ramsay's not going to get that 3rd star.
Is someone pulling my cock? Is this the fucking... Is this a wind-up? What do you mean, think of this? Is no one going to lose my 2nd star? Fucking well, that's some consolidation. I mean, how friendly were you? How friendly are you with him?
At times like these, Ramsay's notorious temper can get the upper hand.
Come on, Sarge. Come on, push it out. Mark.
As his staff know only too well.
It seems so, you know, sometimes standing here it just seems so lethargic. I honestly don't know what's going on, but and you got to, yeah, I said to you last night about working blind. We work on the pass. We're sending 4 main courses, and you're sending starters or the cappuccino. You've got to. Sometimes it's so lethargic. It's shocking, you know that. For cooks of your standard and your age. Yes,
The news begins to sink in.
It's doing my fucking head in, you know that. I can't even go for this properly. I think in my heart of my heart, if they're not here tomorrow, then quite frankly, we haven't got it. Okay. Okay, take care, bye-bye.
Finally convinced, Ramsay's off to his hideout in the basement to get his head together.
This prick on the telephone says to me, well, look, you haven't lost a star. You're not going to go down to what? I mean, is he fucking real? I can wait as long as it's necessary, but it's just doing my head in. This is the worst time. The only way to deal with this is to take a fucking holiday. See, look, there we go again. Yeah, I'm here, this is my hideout, and the phone still goes down here. No one's supposed to know I'm here. Hello.
Meanwhile, at Mayfair restaurant Petrus, Gordon's best friend, Liverpudlian ex-boxer Marcus Waring, is also awaiting the Michelin results, hoping for his 1st star.
3 stars is sort of the cream, the icing on the cake for us all, really. It's not just about one man here. It's about a team of people and a loyalty to that man.
As one of Ramsay's most dedicated ex-employees, Marcus Waring is keen to live up to his former teacher's expectations.
My way of saying to anyone, what's the reward for sticking with someone like Gordon Ramsay? Well, then I'm sitting in it. It's there. This is it. I haven't put 1 penny into this business. Not 1 single penny. He hasn't asked me for a penny, but yet he's made me a partner. And he's spent and put £1.2 million on my head. And I am very grateful for that.
He has no doubts that his friend and mentor will get his 3rd star.
We're all excited for him, and we're all waiting with anticipation as much as he is. And there's no one who will be more happy than myself.
But not everyone is so sure. In the city of chefs, rumours abound that Ramsay's notoriety has landed him in trouble with Michelin. And they've even reached the godfather of them all, Marco Pierre-White.
I hear rumours that they didn't like what he did in his last programme. You know, that shouldn't enter the equation. What should enter the equation is what he puts on his plate and the service you're given. And if Michelin want to be childish about it, then fine. That's their prerogative.
You're always going to revert back to say, well, Ducasse was 33 and Marco was 33 and the Porcel twins in France were 33, so why can't I get it at 33? It's a bugger.
I think Gordon deserves his 3 stars. And I think if Gordon doesn't get his 3 stars, then it's an injustice.
Meanwhile, Ramsay's nerves are on razor edge. He's discovered some white beans that aren't quite up to scratch. The beans are undercooked, and to add insult to injury, they're 5 days old.
Sarge, fresh garnish, yeah? They're fucking useless, you know that? You know that?
Ramsay's determined to identify the culprit.
Sarge, are you tasting anything, or are you just here for the money? You're here for the money, aren't you?
There were some white beans. They weren't as fresh as they should have been. And Gordon spotted it, luckily. I should have spotted it, but I didn't. And I got told off for it, which was entirely correct.
You cooked them Friday morning for Friday service?
Yes, ma'am. That's like Thursday evening.
That's ridiculous. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
None left because we cooked in small batch.
I don't give a fuck if we cook a spoonful. I'm not bothered about how much we cook. We don't do it. I mean, I'm shocked.
Kitchen service continues as usual, while Ramsay's attention switches to a second victim.
Do you not realise those beans are hard on your palate? Can you not identify that?
Yes,
it's a blanquette de légumes. You're more interested about your cars and all that bits of bullshit, aren't you? Why are they so undercooked? Sorry?
I'm not sure, but... At the end of the day, things happen. I mean, it's like, you know, even the best, stupid example, even the best Formula 1 team made a mistake. You know, I saw Nico Häkkinen losing the wheel a couple of times in the Grand Prix. Shouldn't happen, this thing. Guys are paid a lot of money. We should do the best we can. But, you know, you always made a mistake, and, you know, I made mine, Sarge made his mistake, and we get for it, obviously. You know, unfortunately in front of the camera, that... But at the end of the day, you know, it happened.
Ramsay launches a full-scale investigation. He's convinced the staff have tried to cover up.
Why are you sticking your fingers in?
What's this, Nick?
What about this with a spoon in your hand, you fucking idiot?
And Ramsay's temper shifts up a few gears.
Why is there fresh chicken stock on there tonight? I want to know who done that.
Because there was a lot of stock in there, Gordon, when I opened the bag, so I let it down with some...
No, there's nothing old in there. It's all fresh chicken stock in there. I want to know why. Sarge, I'm going to get to the bottom of it. I'm going to find out the truth, and that individual can go and fucking look for a new job as far as I'm concerned.
Yes,
why have they been washed out? They're undercooked,
yes,
yeah? And they're undercooked, they're too firm, and all the stock that they've been cooked in has been washed off. Why?
And
I want to find out what the truth is, because I want to find out who the donkey is here. Beans. Cooked on a Friday and used on Wednesday. I knew when I tasted the jus that someone's trying to cover up. Excuse me, can you get them in the bin?
Yes, good. Yes, good. It is a hardcore way of jumping into what's right and wrong. Some people can take it, some people can't.
And if someone's ever going to try and dictate to me that we cook fucking beans on a Friday for Wednesday, hey, young man, separation. Hey, I suggest they cook Pacific Rim at 300 covers, yeah? You know that? Because that's quite fucking breathtaking, you know that? And because we're not selling any, does that give us any right to cook it less or longer? We're undercooked, and then 5 days fucking old. Every other day. There's no excuse. With or without an Italian on the fucking section.
Who will be the new fall guy for the beans fiasco? Does that mean Sarge is off the hook? And will Jamie Oliver come into the firing line? Plus, is this really the end of Ramsay's dream for his 3rd Michelin star? Gordon Ramsay's on the rampage. He's launched an investigation into these beans. They're undercooked and they're 5 days old. He wants to know why and who's to blame.
Hey, young man, if you think you're in Paris now and you're cooking for Alain Ducasse, is that what you think?
No, brother.
You're not a hot chef, are you? You're not a hot... It's not for you, is it?
No, yeah,
Sorry? I don't think so. I don't think you'll ever cook again. I'm honestly serious. I'd prefer you give you notice.
I didn't come back home and start crying about it. I said, oh, yeah, I don't want to go work anymore, or I'll give my notice. I just, you know, admit that I was wrong. And I realised then, you know, obviously try to not do it again.
But Gordon hasn't finished with hapless Simone yet.
Young man, fuck off downstairs and clean the fridge, because I think you're good at cleaning fridges. You came from a pizzeria, didn't you? You didn't come... I thought you came from a pizzeria. You got no idea. I'd really start rethinking whether or not you should be in this trade. You don't give a toss, do you? You don't give a damn, do you? So why is it stone cold?
Simone must bear the brunt of Gordon's pre-Michelin tension. He's sent downstairs to be Ramsay'd.
That's pathetic. Why are you acting like this? I'm not. Now the beans are sour. Why are we cooking them once a week and not twice every other day? Why is that? I don't think you should cook, you know, because that, you've got no respect for what you do. You've got no feel. Maybe write your notice. Maybe go and get your own job and do whatever you want to do, but don't fucking stand in my kitchen. What the fuck are you doing?
It's not again, Gordon.
So what is it then? You're not saying it's cooking, are you?
No, it's gone.
Sorry?
Not gone.
I think you better just give me your notice. Don't worry about your job in Paris.
No,
you know that? I think it's easy for you to fuck off back to Italy.
It's early on Michelin Monday. The guide is going to be in the shops in 20 minutes, but Ramsay's thought of a faster route. Gordon's gone over to Petrus to meet Marcus, braced for the result.
Does your fucking head in, doesn't it? Does your fucking head in?
But,
hey. They go to Marcus's local cafe to await the decisive phone call.
Outrageous, no?
By now, Ramsay's about to flip, and the morning doesn't start well.
Excuse me? Don't bother you, please. So, are you a waitress, or are you...
No, I'm not a waitress.
You're not... What are you, then?
No. Anyway, what do you want?
I would like... Not what do you want. What would you like? I would like a nice cold glass of milk, please.
Glass of milk.
Is that the tea box?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Say please, thank you.
I just said thank you.
As the Michelin guides are being delivered around town, Gordon's already on the phone.
Have you got a press release there? Serious.
For Ramsay, the news isn't good.
Ready. Petrus, fantastic news. Mirabelle as well. Ready. Jesus, no new 3 stars. Fucking hell. Fucking hell. Fucking hell. Definitely no new 3 stars.
Now the books are hitting the stores, but Ramsay's clinging on to every hope.
Unbelievable. I mean, do you think the facts of the press release out in 2 different lots? If they do the 1 stars, 2 stars... Huh? Huh?
But Gordon refuses to accept the verdict until he sees it in black and white.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd like to see an official press release, no? Yeah. Okay. Okay, then, I'll give you a call later. Okay. Thanks, Anthony. Bye-bye. Fucking hell.
All Ramsay wants to know is why.
I mean, you can't just sit down and ask for a meeting. Fucking hell. Shit.
I can't believe it, to be honest.
In a desperate last attempt, Ramsay calls Michelin HQ incognito.
Hello, good morning. The press release available today. Excellent. And are there any new 3 stars? There's not, no. And are there any new 2 stars? Excellent. Okay, and that's it. Thank you very much indeed. Bye-bye. Oh, you got your star. Congratulations.
For Gordon, it's the bitter end of a long wait. It'll be another year before the next Michelin guide. But over at Petrus, the staff await Marcus's return.
I just found a very happy chef. Congratulations.
Oh, well done. You did well done, yeah. I didn't tell anyone because I thought you should tell them.
Congratulations, big man.
Got the star?
Yeah.
Well done.
Well done, guys.
Yeah.
We won a star. Thank you, Ray.
Buoyed by his success, Marcus now wants 2 stars, just like Gordon, and he's got a plan.
And now I just concentrate on my second. My ambition is to hopefully try and achieve it in the January 2001. It's a very high ambition and very, very ambitious to actually say that, but at the same time, if you don't set your sights to that level, you'll never achieve any goal. So that's what I'm going to achieve. It starts today, and it's a new race.
Things aren't quite as jovial at Ramsay's.
We haven't lost the style, guys. Yeah? Okay, David? We just haven't won one.
The staff have taken it very badly.
We're 99% sure. We still haven't seen it in writing, but I think Gordon's rung them up. And we've now got a confirmation we haven't got it, which was this year a bit more of a surprise than last year.
We have to work hard, and I am always hoping one day, for him and for us, we will get the supremacy, so the star. But we still work, and it will not stop me for anything.
There's an atmosphere of mourning in the kitchen. After Gordon's major disappointment comes more pressure to keep the cool. Celebrity chef Jamie Oliver has come to spend a few days in Ramsay's kitchen to pick up some tips and commiserate.
I just can't believe that he didn't get his third Michelin star this year. It will come next year, but, you know, and it's not all about badges anyway, but I just think it's thoroughly insulting when you've got, you know, some stale old man doing the same old thing, and it's someone that's kind of fresh and got loads of ideas and is trying to extend what's going on in England food-wise, and they're not getting the credit that's due, really. I've been pretty blown away. The food's been absolutely pucker. You know, there's a fair bit of bollockins, as we all know, you know, telling off going on, but not without reason, you know, it's because the geezer cares.
Ramsay's been so preoccupied with work that he's not spent much time at home, leaving long-suffering wife Tana in charge.
I'm a mum, aren't I, Jack? A mum and Gordon's wife.
A newspaper photo shoot provides an occasion to get acquainted with twins Holly and Jack and play with daughter Megan.
Oh my God, that's holding me. I'm dreaming.
Excuse me. It's evening weekend. Tony, there's a slight bogey in Holly's nose. It's actually the first time I actually held them both together, you know that? Tony.
I know.
It'd be nice to sort of wake up and smile a bit. Wonder if they can't smile yet. You've got it, mate, yeah? You've got her. Oh, shit. Thank God for pink and blue. Has Holly got red hair?
No.
Ginger.
What is that ginger to you?
Grumpy Jack. Just like your daddy, aren't you, Jack? Just like your daddy. Grumpy.
Next week on Beyond Boiling Point, Ramsay holds Marco Pierre White's hand in court. He takes on the establishment, and is he the steamy chef in this racy novel?
Oh, his taut muscles straining underneath his shirt.
The book's horrendous.
But is dissent brewing in Ramsay's kitchen ranks?
Questions that I'm going to ask Gordon.
Gordon's got a saying, man, he doesn't want you to be a pussy, man. Doesn't want anybody to be a pussy.
Gormless twat.
It's the society event of the season. Anyone who's anyone in London's restaurant scene is there. The godfather of cooking, Marco Pierre White, is getting married. In the city of chefs, feuds and court cases are rife. Why else would your guest of honour be high-profile barrister George Carman? But for Gordon Ramsay, it's all in a day's work. For Ramsay and his former boss, Marco Pierre White, boys from council estates, society weddings are now the norm. But there's been a price to pay for their huge success. Big boys don't fight their battles on the back streets anymore, but in court. And both Ramsay and Pierre White have lawsuits hanging over their heads. With expensive court cases coming up for them both, it seems to make sense for Ramsay and the newly married Marco Pierre White to head off for a day in the country to relax. But the peace doesn't last long. They're soon receiving calls and faxes from journalists hounding them. A new, racy novel is about to hit the shelves, and it seems to be uncomfortably familiar.
The Sunday Times are haunting Marco to comment. I've already spoken to them, and I said I'd like to read the book.
Marrow appears to be based on Ramsay's former incarnation as head chef at the restaurant Aubergine. Certainly the authoress, a former underwear model turned journalist, had spent several weeks doing research in Ramsay's kitchen some years ago.
They've launched it on the back of incidents and stories and fabrication from the aubergine.
Tiffany admits the rivalry between Marrow's two main characters, Seamus Bull and Emmanuel Koch, has been compared to that between rock and roll chefs Gordon and Marco.
It has been said that Seamus Bull is based on Gordon and that Emmanuel Koch is based on Marco, and that's simply because Seamus Bull and Emmanuel Koch in the book have a rivalry, and perhaps the most celebrated rivalry in the London restaurant world is that between Marco and Gordon, although they say that they are the best of friends now.
As the day progresses, Ramsay's becoming increasingly paranoid.
I can tell it's a bit of a stitch-up because A, I haven't been invited to the launch, and B, she hasn't even asked me for any form of confirmation.
I gather there was a muck-up with the invitations and he didn't get one, which is a shame. One shot from his dark, smouldering eyes and a woman could so easily feel her clothes falling off. Imagine his strong, broad hands grasping her waist, his Celtic features bearing down on her, his taut muscles straining underneath his shirt as, oh, their imagination could take them so much further.
Marco remains circumspect, whilst Gordon's paranoia is fueled by calls from other chefs who've already heard about the novel.
And this thing is causing a lot of generated sort of rumours in the trade.
Someone tried to suggest that we had had an affair, which both Gordon and I know is completely untrue. As far as I remember, Gordon and I have never kissed, much to my chagrin, but there we are.
Back at home, Ramsay's wife Tana has a more cynical view of the Marrow PR machine.
The kind of life, public life that Gordon has, these things are going to happen every month, every 6 months. It doesn't have any interest to me whatsoever, and to be honest, I wouldn't waste my time. I rarely read a book anyway, apart from if we're away, and I certainly wouldn't waste a holiday reading that. I think it's quite funny.
And Ramsay, like Marco, has decided that no comment is the best policy.
I don't want to go public on it, otherwise it looks like I'm a bitter individual that's slightly cheesed off that a book's been written about me. I can't be seen to be linked to that kind of story because it's quite severe.
But that's not the half of Ramsay's troubles. The day in the country is cut short, and he heads back to London to prepare for his court case. Ramsay's past is haunting him. Before he set up his own restaurant, Ramsay worked as head chef at Aubergine for the A to Z restaurant group.
A to Z is a smallish, about 10 restaurants at the last count, I think, group based in London, called A to Z because two of the restaurants they own are Aubergine and Zafferano.
A to Z also owned L'Oranger, which was headed by Ramsay's best friend Marcus Waring. But their relationship with A to Z all went wrong in 1998.
The dispute started when Gordon Ramsay resigned from Aubergine in July 1998. And shortly after that, Marcus Waring was sacked from L'Oranger and several members of staff walked out with him. So many members of staff that the restaurant had to close for about 3 months.
Ramsay and Waring proceeded to set up their own restaurants, forming Gordon Ramsay Limited. But in January 1999, activity was afoot at the deceptively calm A to Z headquarters. They were reportedly suing Ramsay for £1 million.
When A to Z issued a writ against both Waring and Ramsay, alleging that they wanted £1 million for the loss of earnings of the 3 months they were closed, and they were also alleging that electrical equipment was damaged at L'Oranger and that pages had been ripped out of the reservations book at Aubergine.
No. And to complicate matters further, Ramsay still owned 10% of the shares in A to Z. He had investments in the enemy. But Ramsay and Waring aren't the only ones who are discussing tactics. Court mania has taken a firm grip on the city of chefs. Ramsay's mentor, Marco Pierre White, is taking the New York Times to court. He's suing them for £75,000 over allegations of drugs and booze binges. For Ramsay, who was willing to appear as a friendly witness for Marco, it's a chance to get practice in for his own court case. Over at Petrus, Gordon's best friend and business partner, Marcus Waring, fresh from winning his first Michelin star and on the quest for his second, is trying to forget the court case. He's had a string of critics and chefs visit his restaurant. He's eagerly awaiting the feedback about his food, and he's on a mission.
Marcus Waring is somebody that, to be honest with you, is starving hungry to win 2 Michelin stars. I'm obsessed with cooking at the moment. Petrus is, I think, going to be one of the most exclusive dining rooms in Great Britain in time. I intend to make it that. I want it to be talked about throughout the world.
But there's more conflict in the Ramsay empire. Marcus faces a staff dispute involving Christophe, the restaurant manager, who's allegedly assaulted barman Saeed. Christophe denies the allegations.
I left the kitchen to meet Gordon for a meeting late one evening, and Saeed had done something that Christophe didn't approve of. Christophe sent him down to the kitchen and followed him downstairs. When he got there, he verbally ripped through him, swore at him, called him all the names under the sun, I believe, and then eventually punched him quite hard in the chest.
He abused me, he pushed me, he strangled me, he threw my bow tie, he did everything.
Faced with a choice, Marcus leaps to Saeed's defence.
He is 54, he's not as fast as everybody else, and he does make mistakes, but there again, don't we all?
When a waiter smashes a glass, or when a plate gets broken, you know, when a customer complains, I feel very sore inside. I feel really upset because it feels like a part of me is going away.
But allegedly, there have been other incidents.
Saeed made a mistake, and Christophe made him stand outside for 3 hours in the freezing cold, opening and closing doors, a door, but must under no circumstances should he walk into the restaurant. I've come into the restaurant until Christophe said so.
I was suffering for many months. I don't know, maybe he didn't like my face, or he didn't like my personality, or I don't know, because he was treating me very badly.
I was brought up to respect my elders, no matter who they are or what they do. They're your elder, you don't treat them like dogs.
But the problem with Christophe actually got a lot more personal.
Amongst other things, there was a clash between Christophe and I. He seemed to think that he was of an equal status to me, which was never the case. I am a partner here, patron, whatever you want to call it. My partner is Gordon. I don't work for Christophe, but Christophe works for me.
Unfortunately, it's not my own business, and unfortunately, you know, well, it's, you know, I'm just working it, but I come here every day like if it was my own little restaurant, and I deal with it as if it was my own money coming in and my own money coming out.
He took it on Saeed, which basically terminated his employment.
Restaurant service continues as usual, but the staff have a tough act to follow in the face of Marcus's quest for perfection.
Christophe's professionalism, i.e. the way in which he graced the tables, the way in which he cleared them, his passion for food was incredible. That will be missed, there's no two ways about that.
So Saeed stays, Christophe, who'd resigned already, goes.
Saeed's still standing and he's still in my bar today. Christophe's now outside my restaurant, outside looking in. That's his loss, not mine.
Meanwhile, day 2 for Marco, Pierre White and Ramsay in Marco's ongoing battle with the New York Times. After a day in court, it's time for Ramsay to start the night job. Over at his restaurant, the kitchen has undercurrents of tension. Dissent is growing amongst the rising stars in Ramsay's ranks.
I started pulling on the leash because my son bathes.
You have to prove yourself to him day in, day out, and it never lets up.
Sous chefs Neil and Sarge have worked with Ramsay for years, but they aren't happy. They want the promotion they think they deserve, but they're not their own bosses yet.
We start working as a team, yeah? Because anyone wants to go and work on the road, you know what they can do? Fuck right off, hey. And I can't wait to see them on the road, yeah? All big fucking shiny stars, yeah, we'll see.
When you build them to a level,
in their mind, they've got to go on and do something better than they're already doing.
Ramsay's team is the new Brat Pack of cooking, and they want Ramsay to put up the funds for their own restaurants, like he did for Marcus.
My dream since I've been 8 years old really is to own my own restaurant. The idea of having a situation where Gordon would be able to set me up, as he has done Marcus in Petrus, it would be a dream come true.
You know, I look at Marcus, he went away to France, comes back, he's in the head chef position. Mark went away to France, comes back, he's in the head chef position. Neil goes away to France, comes back, he's a sous chef again. You know, it's no big deal, but it's, you know, sometimes, you know, when, say you're on a down or, you know, on a bad day or something where you get out of bed on the wrong side, and these things churn over in your mind.
But Ramsay's stuck. His restaurant seems to be doing incredibly well, even attracting top celebs and people like Liz Hurley. But actually, the pressure of his court case with A to Z and the £1 million at stake are taking their toll. Not to mention the hundreds of thousands of pounds in legal fees that mean, right now, Ramsay simply can't afford to expand his restaurant empire.
Oh, quel bordel. Quel bordel. Donc, les 4 agneaux au pas, c'est bien cuit, là. Fucking hell. Talk about fucking on your own.
So at the moment, there's no way out for Ramsay's staff.
Paul, if I catch you licking that cloth again, yeah, Paul, when there's cloth there waiting to go, yeah, you can go back to fucking Gary Rhodes. Do you understand? Do you understand? Good.
Ramsay's financially strapped, so can he keep his star pupils?
It's either make or break.
And is Marcus about to take Gordon's crown?
Better than Gordon Ramsay's.
But worst of all, will Ramsay's court case break him?
Fuck off with it.
Gordon Ramsay's feeling the pressure.
Get out of the way.
And with a £1 million lawsuit hanging over his head, he has to concentrate on keeping the restaurant going and the cash coming in. But behind the scenes, the staff are at each other's throats.
I don't want you two kicking each other saying that guy's an arsehole. Hey, do you understand? Leave him alone. Hey, young man. Simon, bring it back and wipe down the side. Because it's all pissing around everywhere. You have a look at it, Simon. Christ almighty. David, can you do it? Put it down, Simon, please, yeah? Rebuzz it now. Claude.
But even under threat of bankruptcy, Ramsay's confident that he's got his tempestuous nature in check.
Slowly. Hello, slowly. Doucement. Idiot.
I'm a lot more relaxed on talking to staff, and I feel my communication skills have got better.
No, you don't have to say it like a prick. You just say, slow it down, yeah? I'll slow it down, and you don't have to go back to form. It's just in your own fucking intelligent mind. David, just slow it down a touch, OK? Use your fucking brain, that's all, yeah?
I mean, I think my management skills have improved. They've had to improve.
You're wasting so much time. Your frog thing's done, David, and the gun is not even ready. Work together. David.
But star pupil Sergeant Neil are feeling the brunt of it.
Neil, when it comes to the past, we haven't got time to start wiping everything. Lass, yeah? Go. Especially in the middle of serving 6 main courses. Only how much can be done. One's got to check a lentil, one's got to check a fucking salted potato, and now the other one, yeah? Oh, fucking hell.
They've paid their dues, and with no promise of a way out, there now seems to be no reason for Sergeant Neil to stay and take the abuse.
I've got questions that I'm going to ask Gordon.
It's getting to the age now where I have to make that dream a reality soon, or all this hard work and effort, and it's just going to pass me by.
And Sarge, we can all rush and kick it out. Hence the reason why is closing next week. Sarge, didn't get you very far, did it? No. Sarge, I'm not interested in kicking anything out.
But over at Petrus, the staffing problems are now sorted out. Marcus is pulling out all the stops to make sure the food is up to his exacting standards. And it all starts rather well with some complimentary customers.
Table 15, 2 Americans. They loved it. Came to Gordon's the other night. Better than Gordon Ramsay's. Better than Gordon Ramsay's.
Marcus is eagerly awaiting one article in particular by the Times critic Jonathan Meades. And Gordon's already had some inside information.
Jonathan took me aside and said, Gordon, whatever you've done, Petrus, you have created a monster because it is exceptional. And that's some of the best food I've ever eaten. There's only 2 chefs ever in this country to be given
10 out of 10. That was Marco White and Raymond Blanc.
But for Marcus, there's a third top chef in Britain who taught him everything he knows.
If there's a standard in which I look for in any kitchen throughout the world, throughout Great Britain, it would be Gordon Ramsay's kitchen.
But with Ramsay besieged by problems, is this the moment when Marcus will overtake him?
If I surpass that and go further, even better.
It's late Friday night London, but the city of chefs is still wide awake. Gordon and Marcus go to get Saturday's papers for the Jonathan Meades review.
Yeah.
They go to their favourite late-night haunt in Chinatown, with Marcus's brother, all braced for the results.
You go first. Oh, shit. 9. Well done. Well done.
What have you got?
9. It's very good. Well done. Well done. Well done.
The Times has given Marcus a staggering 9 out of 10 and describes Petrus as, quote, without exception, sheer bliss. Everybody seems happy, but can Ramsay cope with a rivalry?
Of course I'm going to be slightly cheesed off if I'm sat there 10 years down the line, I still haven't won 3 stars, and Petrus rolls in 3 stars. Naturally, I'm doing something wrong.
I'll always be his pupil. In his mind, he'll always see me as his pupil. But at the same time, he sees me also as his partner, his business friend, a guy he goes out and has dinner with.
Okay.
Marcus is spreading his wings, just as Gordon did when he trained with Marco.
I'm a great believer in life that you pass on your knowledge. You know, in many ways, I've passed on the baton to Gordon. I've stepped down, I've gone my own little way in life, and it's now Gordon's turn. And one day Gordon will pass that baton on to somebody else, and that is the way of the world.
People said to me once that what are you, Gordon Ramsay's shadow? But by being Gordon Ramsay's shadow and his friend, Christ, look what he's created.
But does Marcus have this to look forward to? For top chefs, the sky really is the limit. With an ever-expanding number of restaurants across the capital worth millions, Marco Pierre White has achieved what all chefs aim for. But Ramsay stands to lose that dream. On the day of the verdict, the paparazzi gather. Marco has won his court case against the New York Times and been awarded £75,000. But the pressure is still on for Gordon, and he stands to lose $1 million in his battle with A to Z.
That's unreal. He doesn't know how lucky he is, no?
With only a few weeks to go before the A to Z trial date, the City of Chefs congregates to lavish awards upon each other at the annual Katie Awards, the Oscars of the food industry. The Katies are also a chance for Ramsay to finally get one up on Marco. Ramsay has been nominated for the past 3 years for Chef of the Year, an award that Marco never got. And behind the smiles, the City of Chefs can be bitchier than the theatre.
And it's a big award, and they all sit down and say, hi, how you doing? Nice to see you, shake your hand, and they're all full of shit. The minute you go for a pee, they're down there backstabbing you or slagging you off somewhere along the line, or, you know, here's that outrageous chef again that treats his staff like a big bully.
The moment that Ramsay's been waiting for finally arrives.
The Chef Award is one of the most keenly contested and widely talked about. The judges say it's the most coveted title in chef circles. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Caterer and Hotel Keeper Chef Award for 2000 is Gordon Ramsay.
But at the moment of triumph, Ramsay's thoughts are with those who are not lucky enough to ever win this honour.
A great award for any chef to win, and I'm very sorry that Marco never got it.
With one up on Marco and his bad boy image intact, all Ramsay's got to worry about now is that £1 million lawsuit.
I have to be very careful now what I say. Now I've been given the award. That makes me shut up even more now. So it's...
With very little time to go, the A to Z trial looms large on Gordon's horizon. It's not a good time to get on the wrong side of Ramsay.
His shoes, yeah, I've seen the binman with smarter fucking shoes. Look at them. Yeah, get outside. Enlève 14, go. Yeah, look at the state of them. Dominic, they're a fucking binman.
Just another day for Ramsay's long-suffering staff. But as the boss tries to concentrate on running the kitchen, his lawyers and A to Z's lawyers do a deal.
Now, the terms of that settlement were not revealed, and there were confidentiality clauses, so neither of the two parties involved are allowed to talk about it. But it seems fairly clear that one of the things that happened was that was the point at which Ramsay relinquished his 10% shareholding in A to Z.
Gordon Ramsay may have said goodbye to the aubergine, but he's safeguarded his own empire. And he's now free to concentrate on the master plan. Next week on Beyond Boiling Point, free of debt and no holds barred, Ramsay's getting into his stride. Sarge is back in favour, and Ramsay's hobnobbing yet again with the rich and famous. But there's a family drama.
I was an addict.
London's most colourful chef, Gordon Ramsay, is having a very bad day.
Christ almighty. I'm getting slightly embarrassed already. Can't help but get agitated because there's no brains going into it. 6 is the largest table, Neil. Sarge. I don't understand why you do any more than that.
His long-suffering staff are preparing top-quality food, but at a risk. The pressure is really on from the boss.
Christ almighty. Huh? Sometimes I think it's me over-exaggerating, yeah. Huh?
But Ramsay claims that there's a reason for the pressure.
Sometimes, unfortunately, there's things that have gone on that I, release and combined the hurt on other items throughout that particular day to offload them.
The key to Ramsay's troubles can be found in a small town in the west of England. It's where his younger brother Ronald lives.
He's been an addict now for close to 5 years.
Ronald is addicted to heroin.
It's a great sadness, and I dread the phone call one day. I really do. I dread it because I can't see any way out at the moment.
It's become a Ramsay family drama.
The person I don't want to see, really hurt is Mum. So she's been through all this before, and now it's my turn to take it on my shoulders and deal with it.
Gordon and Ronald grew up in Glasgow together.
I mean, I'm not saying that because I'm looking for sympathy, but at times it hurts because I've got no one.
It's very easy for that family to believe that they're a victim of this person, whereas in reality, the entire family is a victim of heroin.
It's come between Tana and I as well. We haven't fallen out over it, but it got thin 2 or 3 times because she's never been exposed to that kind of society, and I'm just not going to jeopardise my relationship with Tana.
So Gordon's letting off steam on the rising stars amongst his kitchen staff.
I've never seen a bunch of fucking big-headed, egotistical in all my life. Never, ever.
Careful. Yeah.
Jules, monsieur. Can you take it by the hand, please, Jean-Claude? Get out of the way. Get out of the way, Sergeant.
I could get seriously upset, with a chocolate tart, but, if I've just spent an hour and a half on the telephone to Ronald and he's, been using methadone, and, I feel gutted.
They can't send it like that, guys. Sarge, stop! I wish someone had a bit of control here somewhere along the line.
But Ramsay's not just letting it out in the kitchen. Some might say he's running away from his problems by training for his first ever marathon.
The marathon is, it's going to be bloody hard work. There's no 2 ways about that.
At 17 stone, the 6'1" ex-footballer is hardly ideal marathon fodder.
Everyone's telling me to slow down and don't drop and don't end in St Thomas's Hospital in the back of St John's ambulance.
Can he make it? Even his best friend has his doubts.
I think he'll get a blister. And I think he'll pull out. Or he'll hurt his calves.
And can he find a route to beat his problems? In an attempt to deal with Ronald's addiction, Ramsay went into rehab with him.
I got told that I was an addict. I was a perfectionist, and it's an addiction.
Clouds, a rehabilitation clinic favoured by celebrities, made Ramsay paranoid when Gordon and Ronald went into family therapy.
I could not walk back in the doors home and explain to Tana what I've just gone through. She doesn't know that I got called an addict.
Ramsay just couldn't cope.
Throughout all the therapy, I took it on my shoulders because I felt guilty, because being successful, he rebels against that. So you can't help but blame yourself. Ronald's taken everything from me, and it still hasn't worked. That day, leaving Clouds, I had to get out.
Ramsay says he's spent over £20,000 on rehab for Ronald, but it hasn't worked yet.
For everyone who's addicted to heroin, if a thorough assessment of their situation is carried out, the correct treatment can be identified. It may not be the easiest one for them, but it will be the best one, and there's a good chance of it working.
I feel far much better now because I've done it. I've got to the very, very top. I've climbed the very, very top with him. I've put him through rehab, and I've been there. I've had tears with him on the telephone. We've gone fishing together. We've slept on a beach together. We've lit a fire together, and we've gone to hell and back.
Back in the kitchen, the staff are solemn. Ramsay is in an even worse mood and ready to humiliate anyone he can, even the kitchen porter.
Mamadou, come here. 2 large trays in the past, please. Putain, tu dors, là. Sanjak out, Hattie. 4 Sanjak Prestige in, please. Then, you numbfuck. Hey, come here. Come here. Mamadou. 2 grands plateaux. Jesus Christ.
Wait.
Come on. Look at him. Merci.
But things are about to get better. Ramsay receives a phone call from someone who he thinks is a prank caller.
We had a phone call from the government hospitality. I actually thought it was some wind-up, and so I didn't really take it that serious. I passed the details on to the office, and it was Downing Street, asking would I be so kind to come and cook for the Prime Minister and the newly elected President Putin on Monday lunchtime, which I was very chuffed about, really. I didn't think naughty boys ever got a chance to go to 10 Downing Street.
With Ramsay set to take centre stage as the Noel Gallagher of Brit cooking, the kitchen atmosphere has improved, slightly, until more linguistic problems get in the way.
All these trays of shit everywhere. Hey, look, caviar here. I mean, fucking hell. The customer don't want to see that, Paul.
No go.
Paul?
No go.
Yeah? OK, go. Table 8, là. Go, table 8. Fuck's sake. Does it don't understand? Is he French? What is he?
No,
What is he?
Italian.
He's Italian.
Yes.
Fucking hell.
Hotel Olympia 2000, the catering industry's annual trade fair. Before he takes up his invitation to number 10, Ramsay's got to go and support Marcus Waring, his rival, business partner and best friend, at his first public demonstration.
Relationships changed in many ways because, I treat Marcus as a partner, not as a chef.
But Ramsay's doing his very best to put Marcus off.
He always delays everything. He's never on time. And he knows that this is my first demonstration and he's been looking forward to this for a long, long time now.
What do you think of those hairs on his arm, Ken? Yeah. Look. Marcus, you don't think you should have a shave before you go? Should we stand over there so it looks a bit fuller?
As Marcus demonstrates how to pan-fry red mullet, Ramsay's preoccupied with other thoughts.
To relax on its own, so to let the flesh relax.
But he soon meets an old rival of his own.
Better than you, Gordon.
He's doing very well. Want to watch this one. How are you?
You all right?
Yeah, fine, and you?
Yeah.
Good.
It's better than you.
Good boy.
Very good. A small garnish onto the plate. In there, just a touch of jet.
You don't work no more.
I don't work no more. You're having a fucking laugh, aren't you?
Huh?
Who told you that? I don't work no more. Who told you that?
All friends of yours.
Deep fried.
Although it's been a success for Marcus, Ramsay's pride has been ruffled by his brush with a mocking chef.
Well done, Marcus.
Now it's hit the tabloids. Ramsay's decided to go public on his brother's addiction.
I can talk about it openly now because he's relapsed again for the third, fourth time, and I don't know, it's got to, it's out my system now because I've been there, done that, and done every possible support, given him everything I could possibly do to get him through it.
And to make matters worse, down in the West Country, Ronald has been charged with theft from the local supermarket.
Now it's, you know, thieving and using to fund his needs, so it's going to go up big time. He's in court on Monday, and if he gets sent away for 2 or 3 months, then you know, there'll be an adverse effect from that.
It isn't a choice. They really are addicted to it. They will actually prioritise obtaining the drug over everything else in their life. And when I say everything else, I mean their family, their relationships, their work, their physical health, everything.
So, with Ronald due in court next week, and even more aggro in the kitchen...
You're not bothered, are you, Sarge? Fucking useless.
How on earth will Ramsay cope with running a marathon and cooking for the Prime Minister all in the same weekend? Monday morning in a sleepy town in southwest England, Ramsay's younger brother Ronald is due to appear in court once again for petty theft to support his heroin addiction. He's going alone with only cameras and reporters as company. Meanwhile, his elder brother Gordon Ramsay is in his kitchen, preoccupied with developing a menu for the lunch that he has to cook at number 10. But for the staff, the gig at Downing Street is also a chance to get out of the kitchen, and rising star Sarge has volunteered to be Ramsay's assistant.
It's not the fact that I'm trying to kiss his arse, I'm not trying to creep around him, it's because it's what I enjoy doing. I don't mind giving up a weekend, or I don't mind giving up a Saturday or something like that to do it, because it's not a case of, you know, oh God, I'm not going to be able to go out for another beer. It's a case of going along doing something that I enjoy.
So is Sarge the new blue-eyed boy of the kitchen? That doesn't mean that he gets spared from being Ramsayed in front of the others.
Sarge is bouncing around like a bloody ballerina, with panache, with character oozing. So you can see he's, you know, clipping at the heels.
Sarge, if you're going to bounce around, you know, I'd rather go in the pastry. Yes, Sarge, I've warned you about it before. Sarge, because all jumping around, flipping around, you're knocking into him, he's knocking into you. Yes. If you turn around and address the brigade properly, we may get it out. Do you understand? Yes, Lord. You put the lids on rather than standing staring at me, no? You could do that, couldn't you? Yes, Lord.
Not appetising sounding, then.
And Ramsay's keen to distance himself from accusations of favouritism.
We've got all the aspirations of Sarge becoming a talented chef, but the one question that I hold behind, you know, has he got the bollocks to maintain it?
I get more bollockings than most people in the kitchen because I suppose Gordon wants me to progress as much as he thinks I can.
Sarge, they can't serve any more than 6 at one time, just like we can't. Why are you doing it at 14 then? What's going to happen to the last 4 with a granite? Well done, Sarge. Gold star.
Meanwhile, in the West Country, Ronald Ramsay's court case has been heard. Having pled guilty to charges of petty theft, Ronald's leaving the court with 2 years probation and a place on a funded drug rehabilitation programme.
He got given a 2-year probation, which is bloody lucky. Very, very lucky indeed. He's off methadone. He's looking now to enter rehab, a secondary clinic where there's not such a strict confinement. Gives a bit more freedom.
Ramsay and Sarge are putting the finishing touches to the Downing Street menu.
Mark Sargent's going to be the resident chef there next year. Tony wants to go for his first star.
The special menu consists of British produce with a Russian influence. It includes a caviar dish for Putin, as well as ham-knuckle terrine for Blair.
I'm not too sure about Putin. You know, Putin reminds me too much of putain.
Putain is French slang for prostitute.
Okay, Mark, what do you think? Yeah? Nice and light. It's got a bit of a Russian sort of influence to it. Yeah? It's KGB free. Sorry, it's GM free.
But there's already been friction between the bad boy of cooking and number 10.
I asked if I could use my own china. And he said, no, you can't, because the space. They've got some dreadful china with all these horrendous emblems on with ER. All this ghastly green and grey stuff. And their size of their main course plates were the same size as my saucers.
Downing Street, I can't imagine having too much of a well-stocked kitchen in the terms that we're used to, you know, with all the stoves in a very professional kitchen. We've taken all our own pots and pans and everything like that, so we've got items of equipment that we're going to be used to. But we know the dishes, and so hopefully it should be fine.
I asked if we could, bring my own team of waiters in and serve it, but they want to use their butlers. They're not called waiters, they're butlers. They've been properly trained. They all starch their underpants, and they look immaculately dressed.
But even the boisterous Ramsay's getting butterflies about serving a real power lunch.
There is, no equipment whatsoever, so I'm not too sure if I'm positive it's going to work. I mean, I just hope they eat it. That's the most important. Okay, so the sea bass with crushed new potatoes, coffee tomato, white asparagus, and lovely girolles.
Dawn on the day of the marathon. Ramsay's got to cook at Downing Street the very next day.
Nice things like this.
But first, he has to run just over 26 miles. None of his family are optimistic about him making it.
See you at the hospital.
But Ramsay's confident.
I think it's fresh enough, no, this morning.
At the starting line in Greenwich, Ramsay's getting nervous. He's one of several celebs running the marathon. Although Frank Bruno also weighs in at about 17 stone, at least he has been training assiduously, which is a lot more than Ramsay can say.
How you feeling, Gordon? I feel fine, but I don't think we should be this close to the front. Not when we're standing in front of the world champion. Or standing behind the world champion.
But the competitive chef still believes that he can do it.
What time are you going to do it in? 3:45. Come on, in your dreams.
Ramsay's determined to make his target time of 3 hours 45, but he has 32,000 other people to contend with. Ramsay's still going, but others have long since arrived. Just 1 hour after his target time, Ramsay crosses the finishing line.
Oh, Jesus.
As an ex-Glasgow Rangers player, it's not his first stint at physical effort. But that was nearly 15 years ago, and Ramsay wasn't quite prepared for this.
Yeah, that was a killer. Stopped twice. Did you? Yeah, cramp. Bad and just seriously stiff.
And Ramsay seizes up again.
Oh, God, I've already got cramp. Oh, shit.
But with Downing Street just hours away, cramp's the least of Ramsay's worries.
The only information I know about Putin is the fact that he used to head the KGB. So, let's hope the kitchen doesn't go up.
The very next morning, and the political atmosphere is tense.
Burn, burn, Moscow! Burn, burn, Moscow!
morning, Prime Minister.
Good morning.
As Tony Blair prepares for the visit, Ramsay and Sarge have to run the gauntlet of Chechen demonstrators to make it safely to the front door of number 10. And Ramsay's carrying the effects of the marathon.
I was a bit fucked getting up in the morning because my legs were slightly stiff. Felt like I had two big hard-ons in my knees. Couldn't walk. So I went up the lift, and Sarge took the stairs, and I was like walking around. I felt like a butler, stiff.
Totally different to what I thought it would be like, really. I imagine this big, grand sort of house with lots of grand rooms, long tables, board meetings and things like that on there. But basically it was like the inside of an old hotel. That's the only way I can describe it, because there are lots of like service elevators and little kitchens with old dinner ladies in doing the washing up.
President Putin of Russia's visit was marked by the controversy it caused. No stranger to trouble himself, Ramsay gets on with the cooking, whilst the two world leaders take a photo call.
It's going to go right now.
As Blair and Putin concentrate on matters of international importance, the power lunch is about to be served. After the lunch, there's another press call, and this time, Ramsay's invited.
Thanks so much. Not at all. Yeah, it's really great. Really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Pleasure enjoyed it. Thanks. Yeah, fantastic. Good. Very good. A lot of English produce. Yeah. Chicken and ham. Treacle
After lunch, there was a press call, and the newly elected president and the Prime Minister asked for a photo. So that was very nice. I was very pleased with that. So we sat in between them. Didn't want to stand too long against that sort of small, powerful man from Russia. I wasn't feeling that comfortable. It's like standing in between two Michelin inspectors from each side of the country.
Thank you so much. That's great.
But unfortunately for Ramsay, Blair and Putin don't have time to chat. Back to reality for Ramsay. Since his brother Ronald's appearance in court, things haven't got better, and the Ramsays have come to a difficult decision.
We went through recovery and relapse. Where do you draw the line? We've had many discussions, Tan and I and Mum, and it's always ended up in the same discussion. You know, it's got to be now tough love.
Gordon's decided to try and cure his brother by cutting him off.
It's so easy to look at the person who uses heroin as a bad person. They're a good person, but their behaviour needs adjusting. But they are all victims of the drug, not of the user.
Next week on Beyond Boiling Point, Ramsay keeps on running when he splashes out on a stag weekend for Marcus in Monte Carlo, gets a lesson in game from Marco Pierre White, and pays a pilgrimage to a top restaurant in Spain. But should Barcelona really have to tolerate this kind of behaviour from Brits abroad? Gordon Ramsay is now king of the City of Chefs, so this week he celebrates, as only he knows how, by going on the rampage with the lads in Britain, Barcelona and Monte Carlo. But his old friend Trouble is never far away.
Stuart, thank you. We can all hard, you know that, Stuart? Yeah, one day you're going to be a head chef, you know that? Yes, yeah, can't fucking wait.
Ramsay's about to go abroad, but he's got some unfinished business in the kitchen. Despite an investigation a few weeks ago, Ramsay's discovered more undercooked beans. His two unfortunate suspects this time are hapless Simone and Glaswegian hardman Hector.
That's disgusting, that. I taste the veg to check the seasoning, and bang, it just hits me straight away. They're far too firm. But you're not bothered about it, are you? Now you're going to stand there and watch the bean being cooked. So why do we get this far, David, down the surface, realise they're bullets? He's fine. I don't think you understand. You've given up, haven't you? Can you just leave the basket in the water and get them cooked, yeah?
Ramsay's now got Scottish sous chef David Hector Dempsey firmly in his sights.
David, hey, David, for the last time. Do you understand? Yeah? I don't want anyone working on the floor, David. Okay? And if I want to check it, I'm not going to go down there on the fucking floor, yeah? Okay? We get up and we check it properly, okay?
With only hours to go before his plane leaves, Ramsay doesn't let up the pressure.
David, I've seen nothing from you yet, you know that? You're just one of the run-of-the-mill, aren't you, David? David, you're an average cook for your age. You're just one run-of-the-mill, isn't it? Asparagus last week, now bullet beans, and you still don't notice them.
Ramsay's off on a pilgrimage to visit one of the world's greatest chefs. Destination? Barcelona. Ramsay's part of a posse of 6 top British chefs who've come to pay homage to Spanish culinary genius Ferran Adrià. They head for Ferran's inner sanctum, his laboratory, where Ferran spends 6 months every year experimenting and creating completely new cooking techniques. It's the work carried out in the laboratory that makes Ferran a revolutionary 3-starred Michelin chef. Gordon's impressed.
Amazing. Beautiful.
Ferran's even installed a video link with his restaurant 150 kilometres away. A push of a button activates the kitchen. Gordon's humbled.
But each time I come to places like this, it makes me realise that I'm still a cook. I'm not a chef, because this is amazing. I mean, this is a dream come true. Christ, what a place. Jesus.
Ramsay's off to visit Ferran's restaurant, El Bulli, which is situated where the Pyrenees meet the Mediterranean. The journey involves a mountain road, and it's making Ramsay feel a touch edgy.
Look how close you are to the edge. Look. It just goes on and on and on and on. Look at that. For fuck's sake. Oh, Jesus Christ almighty. Fucking hell.
3 coaches try to negotiate the precipice.
Oh, shit. Fuck yeah, look. Sat, any chance to open that window, please, mate? Yeah, so we can vomit through something.
I'm like that, I'm holding myself down.
Just think how pissed off he's going to be at all these customers late for lunch. Terrible.
An hour and a half late, and they eventually arrive at the restaurant Mecca. Gordon heads the posse to meet the Catalan culinary god.
Spanish, please. Let me go and say hello.
Petit.
Over 3.5 hours, the bloated Brit chefs have consumed a 21-course menu. The use of Darjeeling tea jelly with barnacles has got them talking.
He's actually come up with a concept that can actually make, which sounds ludicrous, a hot jelly, and it still doesn't melt. And it's the first time I've eaten out for a long time. I actually experienced no caviar, no oysters, no foie gras, and no truffle veal jus, and still come away thinking that, wow, this is exciting.
In the kitchen, Ferran talks the chefs through his techniques and presentation. Over a glass of champagne, a subservient Gordon introduces Ferran to the Brit pack.
Ça, ils ont gagné un concours pour le meilleur jeune chef à l'Angleterre.
Ah oui, oui. Mais tu t'as... You know,
yeah, he said you're still a
After a tour of the kitchen, there's a chance for a quick photo.
Heston, can you stop playing with these nuts?
And an autograph.
Yeah. Ciao, ciao.
Then it's back off to Barcelona to party. (1:30 a.m. Back in London, Ramsay's employees are leaving work.
Exactly.
So there, guys. Bye-bye.
Sous chef Hector lives in a studio flat, and his chef de partie, Simone, has been crashing there.
And this is my bed. Not really big, actually, but comfortable enough.
My bed is my fucking couch, man. But
for about 4 hours a night, it's good enough.
It's time to unwind after a day's work, but also to examine this week's oven scars.
they're a lot worse since I started working with Gordon, obviously. My opinion, people are like, oh, fucking that's ridiculous, and your hands are a state and all the rest of it, because they shouldn't be like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, you've got a small confined space, and you're right involved. It's hard to describe. I get right involved in it, you know. At the end of the day, the food's more important, you know what I mean? It's the most important.
Do you think keeps you awake? You never fell asleep. I got a baby, you know. I'm in the bed, so she thought I ever got, you know, my stove is not really hot.
I say service at Gordon's, man. If you can do a service at Gordon Ramsay's, man, you can do a service anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what anybody says, you know what I mean?
In their boss's absence, Hector and Simone have had time to reflect on their recent grillings.
He foxes for it, man, doesn't he? Huh?
Yeah,
he foxes for it. But all Gordon wants you to do is be fucking strong, man. And not be one of these... Gordon's got a thing where he doesn't want you to be a pussy, man. Doesn't want anybody to be a pussy.
Sorry. Notorious.
2 a.m. back in Barcelona. Ramsay and the British chefs have found an Irish pub, but they're on a mission and hit the back streets in pursuit of Barcelona's real nightlife. On the way, they clearly fail to appreciate some local performance art.
Yeah, let's have a look. Okay, we'll go in.
In their pursuit of Catalan nightlife, the chefs find they may have ventured a little too deep into Barcelona's back streets. They've stumbled across a gay flamenco club, which isn't quite what they were looking for.
No. It's a Mars bar raid. Oh, shit. No.
The atmosphere's stifling.
It's too hot. Look. Flash me on. Moody.
Come on.
Come on.
No, we'll go on one more place, I think.
Yeah,
let's go one more place.
Finally, they track down the type of place they are looking for. An English photographer that's been tagging along is finding the pace hard going. But there's one more chance for a final photograph.
This is caterer.
3 a.m. London. Flatmates Hector and Simone are still up, quibbling as usual about the flat.
I was supposed to stay about, 3-4 weeks. And I'm up to stay about 4 months now.
Fucking, yeah, he's full of shit. Five and a half months he's been here. And he was only meant to stay about 2 weeks.
But luckily, I'm going to leave at the end of the month. In 3 weeks' time.
Where are you going?
I'm going to go back to Italy for a month. And after, I'll start my new job in Monte Carlo in November. So, not long to go. 3 more weeks, hopefully. I can't wait for it.
Simone's got through a grueling 3 years of being Ramsayed and has finally found an escape route. But Simone's not the only one going to Monte Carlo. His boss, Ramsay, is taking another lads away day in the playground of the rich and famous. The French Riviera. Top London chef Marcus Waring is getting married. His best man Gordon Ramsay is splashing the cash in his stag do, and he's moved the city of chefs here for the weekend. Ramsay and his head chef Mark, Marcus and his brother Brian, like him an ex-boxer, and Chef Steve.
We wanted to do something a bit more sophisticated, something a bit more us really, and not put that sort of yob stamp on it.
With a Michelin-starred dinner in Monte Carlo to look forward to later, the lads concentrate on soaking up the local scenery.
I asked for this particular stag do because it's what I'm about. When you have a taste for these things, you know you want more, because we all want more of the good things in life. Then it makes you go back to your office, your kitchen, and work.
I am paid a fantastic salary. I'm looked after incredibly well by Gordon, and why should we skim? It's not what I'm about anymore. It's a bit more than that.
And so Ramsay's hired a boat, a big boat. In fact, it's a beast. The Monte Carlo is worth £70,000 and can do the equivalent of 75 miles an hour over water. It's a veritable testosterone machine.
Up to 3,600. Easy cruising speed, nothing yet. Start to feel the wind on your cheeks. And your balls are starting to shrink.
As the powerboat gathers speed, the boys enjoy the adrenaline rush.
4,000 on each engine. It's really going through now.
But at top speed, the chef's machismo is severely tested.
Late.
Marcus's stag party are off to Monte Carlo for the evening. But despite the fact he trained in the south of France, best man Gordon isn't too popular with French drivers.
What's his problem? Huh? Down towards the...
Once in Monte Carlo, the stag crew head for somewhere appropriately classy to have a pre-dinner aperitif. The powerboat ride earlier has taken its toll on Marcus's brother Brian. He's feeling ropier by the minute. But Ramsay's booked Alain Ducasse's Louis XV for the stag dinner. It has 3 Michelin stars, and it's the very restaurant where Simone is going to work. It's also a chance for Ramsay and Marcus to check out the competition.
Getting drunk, waking up, being sick is not my idea of having fun, me personally. Going out to one of the best restaurants in the world, eating the best chef's food is my idea of a stag weekend.
But with the meal at Ducasse costing £250 a head, Ramsay isn't that impressed with the rolling show in Monte Carlo.
No disrespect to Ducasse, but Marcus can take his food to Ducasse and equally hit 3 stars on the head. It's for me to open the door to bring Marcus along, just to give him that little bit of confidence to say, look, hey, it's a very glamorous setting, a very superficial, sort of plastic-orientated setup, flash idiots in their Ferraris and, you know, blonde-haired bimbos with silicons coming out of their nose, pumped-up rubber lips, arses all stitched up and tightened in, and 3.5 hours to get a pair of jeans on, and a spray on top with their nipples, you know, looking like something from a Massey Ferguson wheel nuts off a tractor. I mean, it's horrendous. Fuck me. What is that? Huh? Jesus.
1 a.m. and the stag party leaves Monte Carlo for a nightclub further down the coast. But there's a problem for organiser Ramsay. A 1-hour queue.
Well, we give it a try, won't we? I'm not one for queuing. I get very frustrated queuing.
If he gets us in it, it'd be a fucking miracle. But then again, Gordon's never failed to get us into a nightclub yet.
With his kitchen French, Ramsay negotiates with the bouncers. Brian is now on his last legs, but he's determined to stick it out for his brother. Ramsay's talked the bouncers round.
I said I'd get in, didn't I?
What did you say to him?
Marcus's brother Brian has departed for the people carrier to sleep off his sunstroke. 5 a.m. and Ramsay's gang approach their car, with Brian asleep inside. The outcome is all too predictable.
He went back to the van and had a sleep in his pass. And it's his little brother stag night. What a bore.
They
they say that when you get married,
Dawn, Juan Lepin, and the chef's stag party, all aged 30 plus, have had it. But young Juan is just spilling out of the clubs. No Michelin-starred cuisine for them, though. But the next morning, Marcus is focused on his wedding to Jane.
I'm not one bit nervous. I'm going to enjoy the day for what it is, knowing that it'll last forever.
Ramsay's back in the kitchen after his stint abroad, and he's throwing his weight around. He's keen to rid Simone of any delusions about his upcoming job in Monte Carlo.
When you go and work at Dallas Ducasse, young man, with 30 cooks in the kitchen, you start acting chippy or pushing the pastry chef's trays. Was it an accident or did you do it on purpose? It was absolutely an accident. An absolute accident, yeah? Do you know it was an accident, David, or do you think you've done it on purpose to shaft you? The way you looked at him there, David, you took it all personally again. David, let's go. If anyone's got any reason to anything personally, David, I'm taking it personally that we're getting substandard at the moment. I take that personally. When I come here, hey, and we see that we're arguing over pushing trays, yeah, or knocking each other's plates, David, you listening? David, yeah. And what's coming out is still not 100% perfect, David. David, it looks like our own little chippiness is playing more fault than the food. Is that right? It is right. You listening, Simon?
And Hector's not getting an easy ride of it, either.
Right, the sequence last night I got upset about because it was just an absolute bollocks.
Yes, go on.
Yeah, you're frothing that when you should be dressing the table.
Yes, go on.
It's his musical.
Yes,
yeah?
go on.
And the garnish not even in there, and you've got the underplate yet, and you're frothing away.
Yes, go on.
So, slow down.
Yes, go on.
Take one look at what's going on and work together.
Yes,
do you understand?
Yes, I do understand.
Yeah? Good. When they acknowledge that, Dave. Hello. Then we'll go. But I'm fed up with just seeing you wasting so much time, when we should be dressing a table.
Yes, go on.
And wasting time.
Yes, go on.
Wait till the garnish in there, Dave. Then that's boiling now.
Yes,
we'll
go on.
froth it.
Yes, go on.
We'll go straight from there.
Wait on.
A private country estate somewhere in southern England. Gordon's here to meet up with his former boss, millionaire restaurateur Marco Pierre White. A chef so successful, he recently gave back his 3 Michelin stars, feeling he didn't need them anymore. Ramsay, still stuck on 2, is keen to discuss his research trips to continental kitchens.
I always like eating my vegetables afterwards.
But his guru is more interested in competing with Gordon in the sporting pursuits of a country gentleman. And Ramsay, desperate to soak up any clues whatsoever into gaining that 3rd star, goes along for his first ever shooting lesson.
Let's go and have a look. First one's way out. That was the first one.
That's when it went up.
That's when it went up when I wasn't used to the trigger.
Well, it's not that bad. Bloody hell.
Ramsay's determined to get one up on his mentor. With a .243 caliber rifle, Super Chef Marco has outgunned his former pupil. Just.
Very happy. First time and powerful things.
Marco was a bit cross, he did so well.
I don't give a fuck what you think.
That said, Ramsay seems strangely content to let his ex-boss embarrass him as Marco gets his geese to chase Gordon. Proving that while Ramsay may ride high in the city of chefs, he's no country gent yet. Next week on Beyond Boiling Point, Ramsay goes on tour down under, where they think he's a sex symbol.
He's tall, carries himself well, and he's nice looking.
And he's even got a stalker.
Jesus Christ.
If there's anything that intimidates me, it's, that kind of feeling that, 12,500 miles away from your hometown, that you're just as popular over here as you are back in the UK.
Popular?
I don't think he's a particularly nice human being.
Try that for your bullshit for your kitchen in London, not here.
And even Hector's in on the limelight.
No, it's like being a fucking movie star or something.
So has Ramsay won over the Aussies? Ramsay's going on tour down under to promote his latest book, but trouble's brewing.
I'm just going to need one idiot to start, getting on the wrong side of it, I'm going to snap.
Day 1, Brisbane. Ramsay's been invited to star at the Hilton Masterclass.
We've been trying to lure Gordon for a few years now, and we're thrilled that he could come for the 2000 Masterclass.
After a grueling 37-hour journey, Ramsay's already behind schedule. He's set to embark on his rock and roll book tour, and just 15 minutes after arrival, it's his first interview of the week, and he's decided to be provocative about Aussie chefs.
There's a lot of talk about Australian chefs back in London. Of course, Australians have no loyalty. You know, they come with their backpacks.
Yeah. Ready to go back.
They cram in, 16 or 17 chefs in a 2 metre square room. They don't pay fucking rent. They don't pay their poll tax. They grab all the knowledge they can, and they disappear. That gets on my tits.
So after letting off some steam, Ramsay goes down to the hotel kitchen to find some Australian chefs with a view to a spot of Ramsaying.
I want to trade organised tonight, so when we come in tomorrow, I'm not leaving. Tomorrow's going to be an absolute fucking disaster.
Oh, really?
Yeah, big time. OK, good. So all go, go, go.
Ramsay's left his sous chef and travelling companion, David Hector Dempsey, to start organising the next day's demonstration.
What a fucking day, man. Shit.
But there are a few comprehension problems hindering the process.
Paper. I think it's difficult to understand me. Yeah, sorry.
And Ramsay's already found something to target Hector about.
He's been drinking. When we boarded the plane this afternoon, the server came round with his tray of drinks. He said, "What would you like, Mr. Ramsay?" I said, "I'd a glass of orange juice." Thinking David would follow on, but no, David had champagne.
At least, that's Ramsay's story.
He told me, take a couple of drinks, you'll be okay. So I had a few drinks in the plane. But didn't it work? Just took a couple of hours sleep and then I woke up with a sore head.
And whilst Hector's working away, Ramsay's playing the celeb and having a drink or two himself. But he can't resist checking up on his protege, who's still slogging away at the cooking.
You can see how many stiffs there. There's more stiffs in there than there is in Manager's Hall. Need some sleep, eh? You're tired. Come on. He's lying. Come on. So we start the plane. Yeah, no. So it's he gets really ratty and gets all arsey when he hasn't slept. Is that right? He's got a temper like a real Scotsman.
Day 2, 8 a.m. Ramsay's newspaper comments on Australian chefs have outraged Brisbane. Now he's got to face a whole panel of critics, but he's denying the allegations.
As we know, if we've seen the Courier Mail this morning, he already has opinions on Australian food. Please welcome Gordon Ramsay.
Comments today, very briefly, in the paper, has obviously got into hot water, I can sense it. I was asked about Australians in London, not how do I feel about Australian food. A little bit unfair, having been here 45 minutes with a journalist ramming a microphone.
But Ramsay's found an enemy on the panel, ex-rock writer turned foodie, Cherry Ripe.
Within 15 minutes he was running off at the mouth about Australian food before he'd even put a mouthful in his mouth. We certainly have plenty of people who can cook, and some of the most exciting and innovative food in the world. But no, Gordon felt that he could comment on it before he'd ever tasted it.
That javelin thrower through there, the Fatima Whitbread Aussie rules, OK. She's just trying to provoke a reaction. She wants a flare-up because I know it's going to hit the papers, and she already told me how detrimental I was to Australian chefs in the newspaper today.
The same afternoon, Ramsay's first cooking demonstration. This is Hector's real test of the trip, but at least everything is ready.
Come on, big man. We've got to go. We've got to question it, Dave, and not now, yeah? Because 10 minutes' time I'm going to look fucking stupid.
However, it's also Ramsay's opportunity to try and humiliate Cherry Ripe.
Good afternoon and welcome. Turn that phone off straight away. Thank you. Was that Cherry? No. But it was on. Yeah, that's it.
In Gordon's cooking demonstration class, he obviously had latched on to my name, which, you know, I've lived with for long enough. I'm a big girl, I can take it.
Ramsay's found out that Cherry Ripe's name is also that of an Aussie chocolate bar, and he's planning further public torment.
Nice to see you, Cherry. How much did it cost you for that name? What is your real name? Bullshit.
We've got a present for him. Look.
Ramsay's on a roll. He's been treated like a major celebrity, with a string of interviews and book signings, and even Hector's in on the limelight. But undeterred by the fact that Cherry Ripe is also a celeb, Ramsay's declaring war. The evening of day 2. Anyone who's anyone in Brisbane has gathered for the Queensland Mud Crab Festival. And Ramsay's already got into another argument with Kathy Snowball, food editor of magazine Gourmet Traveller. She's refused to review Ramsay's friend Donovan's cookbook.
Donovan used to work for Marco for 4 years, and he's a big success over here in Melbourne. And he's got a wonderful restaurant called Est, and he's got one of the best cookery books ever published, especially in the last 2 years. And the book was a big success back in the UK, and she won't review it because she thinks he's pretentious. And it's the first time in 18 months he's actually had the chance to sort of turn around and ask her face to face.
I'm asking you a polite question. If you're behind chefs in Australia, why aren't you reviewing a chef's book? Because you're allowing your emotions to take preference over his book.
I thought...
You've got it in for him personally. Tell him you're jealous of the restaurant. He has more customers pass through each week than you sell magazines over 10 years. Tell him in front of you now.
No,
Fucking words like that. Okay.
And, you know, I'll be shot down in flames and I'll go down.
So you're going to give us a proper answer now?
Yes, I'm going to give you the...
Oh, this is the second answer.
The proper answer.
Go on then.
I think that it's so contrived. The design is bloody stupid. All that big things.
Oh, Christ.
You've got very good recipes, you've got lovely food, and they have...
But what's contrived? What's contrived?
Listen, fuck the design. Look at the food.
Fuck the design. You won the award.
As it gets heated, Ramsay can't bear to be left out.
There's some more crab in your hair, sweetheart.
I love your food. I just don't love...
Review the bloody book! For God's sake, stop being a bloody snob!
Review the bloody book.
Okay. Time. Woo, hallelujah!
But there's worse yet to come.
I'm not going to take it from her, so I'm just going to give her a hard time. Were you not becoming vicious and personal to Donovan? You called him pretentious?
I'm not calling you pretentious.
I can take that, sweetheart.
Okay, come on now. That's enough.
Okay. She's obviously wound up.
No, you're one.
Having been here one day, I don't need chefs sat here playing with my nuts. I think the critics here have bigger egos than every food critic back in the UK combined, with the Sunday Times, with the Evening Standard.
Not only got a pathological dislike of food writers, but I really think that he baits us to get more publicity.
As the dinner becomes more and more argumentative, Ramsay's getting personal.
I just want your book and I want to review it.
Okay.
That's the way that he is. That's why he's so fucking famous.
No.
He's a shithead. He's not going to be nice to you. He's not going to be nice to you just to get good praise.
I may stay for that.
Send me a bloody book, darling.
I thought you said you got it, you were about to review it.
No one has sent me your book.
I'd pay you money to slate it, you know that.
No one has sent me your book. It has not turned up on my desk.
Can I ask one request before we close the conversation?
Yes.
Throughout my demonstration tomorrow, there's no swearing. It puts me off when I'm trying to demonstrate.
Day 3, and off to Sydney.
Oh, shit. Too much money, not enough sense. Yeah, that's fine. That's champagne, but the shoe bag, come on.
Ramsay's straight off the plane and into a shoot to promote his book with famous photographer Jeff Lung. Still jet-lagged and having spent a hectic weekend in Brisbane, Ramsay's set for another spate with a critic. And he's found his match in Sue Fairley Cunningham. they start to argue about an Australian chef that Sue says Ramsay wouldn't let into his restaurant.
Bullshit. I mean, I haven't got a clue what you're on about. Because, I mean, so you sent me a fax.
No, I didn't send you a fax.
So who made the point of contact?
One of your friends rang you and they said, you just said you didn't have room.
Well, tell me who it is and I'll tell you whether it's true or not. Because I haven't got no recollection of that at all. Who's the chef?
Neil Perry.
The man with the ponytail? I can't remember that.
It's a pity.
Someone said, I don't give a flying fuck. That wasn't very fair. That does not sound like me.
Although Ramsay denied knowledge of the incident to Sue Fairley-Cunningham's face, the truth is a bit closer to the bone.
The place was completely full. So I said, is that the Australian chef with the long ponytail? He said, yeah, that's right, that's him. I said, tell him to fuck off. Sorry.
So why didn't you tell her the truth?
Why did I tell her the truth? She knows the truth. I winked at her. She knows the truth. I just don't like. I just don't like being put over a barrel like that. She's talking out of a bloody pinstripe ring piece.
Will Ramsay get his revenge on the food critics? And amidst the pressure of his book tour, how can he cope with a female stalker? But will the stress of misbehaving take its toll? And who's the guy that the bad boy of cooking really has it in for?
Christ, I was pissed, I'll tell you.
Ramsay's whirlwind tour of Australia continues.
The thing that intimidates me is that kind of feeling that, 12,500 miles away from your hometown, that you're just as popular over here as you are back in the UK.
Popular, with 80 interviews in 7 days, Ramsay's making quite an impression.
Gordon Ramsay, nice to have you.
Don't give a fig.
But can he hold it down? Day 4, Sydney, and the crammed schedule is beginning to take its toll on Ramsay. At a literary dinner that evening, Ramsay bumps into an old enemy, food critic Cherry Ripe. Ramsay's determined to provoke an argument, and his after-dinner speech is the perfect opportunity as Cherry takes the bait.
Do you think that people will be able to go home, buy this book tonight, go home, open it and cook from it successfully?
Yes, I mean, of course I do. I think it's, I mean, they've got wonderful, there's a pea and ham soup, things like cherry soup with, cherry soup. Cherry soup with some real shitty Mars bar chopped up on top of it.
This time, Ramsay's gone too far. After dinner, there's a full-blown incident in the hotel lobby.
Good.
He was sitting around a table with about 6 or 8 other people, and there was a spare seat next to him, so I said, do you mind if I sit down? I've been leaving you messages all day. I just want to confirm these 2 quotes. And he denied having said the first one, and I was asked to leave before I could confirm the second one.
She started getting quite aggressive with Gordon, and he was retaliating, and it was sort of escalating a bit out of control. And Gordon sort of looked at me and was like, and I sort of stood up then and said, thanks very much, and we're sort of now, our day's over, we've had a long day, Cherry Ripe, and I think it's best if you leave.
On my way over, my Cherry Ripe sort of grabbed me. She's like, I've been nothing but abused all weekend by your boss.
She wanted to have her say and explain her side of the story and everything, which I sort of appreciate. However, the forum wasn't quite right.
That Cherry Ripe's venom. And she's like, I won't be shaking your hand.
Well, it's just completely unnecessary and rude, just the way he throws Joan Collins out of restaurants. Why would you throw me out for trying to check a quote?
It's amazing how these people act out here. All these food critics, they've got really big fucking egos, you know what I mean? And it's as if they're all... It's like fucking Gordon's this big sort of icon, this kind of... He's that big rock star and everybody wants to fucking, interview him, everyone wants to be with him. And it's got to the stage they're actually fucking fighting over him, which I find quite amusing.
Ramsay's revelling in the attention, but even he's had enough.
If I get there tonight and Cherry Ripe's there, I'm going to say to the organiser, either she goes or I go. I'm not going to sit there and
Then I'll
watch.
ring Sue then. I'll ring her and tell her that.
Yeah.
Okay?
If she's there, I'm going.
Day 5, Melbourne, and the tour's taken an unexpected twist. It's emerged that Ramsay's being followed round Australia by a stalker, and she's trailed him to his hotel. She's been phoning him at all hours, and Ramsay's beginning to get scared.
Jesus Christ. It's a bit of an eerie feeling, really. It's just not a nice feeling.
when someone's watching you so closely.
I mean, think about it. I mean, she was in Brisbane, now she's in she's in Melbourne. You know what I mean?
We had to tell the receptionist last night to screen the calls. I think that was important because that was twice last night, 1:10 in the morning, just when you think it's safe to get to bed, and the phone goes.
The news has even hit the papers.
Okay, I was all getting a bit too much this.
Do you feel like you're a real celeb now you've got a stalker?
I don't feel a real celeb at all, no. I actually feel quite concerned, really. 10 to 2 this morning, 11:30 at night whilst in the bar having a quick bite to eat and a drink with some friends. I'm actually glad we're on that 6 o'clock flight tomorrow morning. I'll tell you what, if we get to New Zealand, there's any trace over there, I'll go fucking bananas.
Gordon Ramsay is a tough chef. If you know the book A Chef for All Seasons, you'll know Gordon Ramsay is a perfectionist.
We've got someone called Gordon Ramsay, and if you dare say who, I'll be in big trouble.
Boiling Points delivered international fame. Gordon Ramsay, welcome to the programme.
Thank you, hi.
The Rock Tour continues with Ramsay's 4th city in a week.
I like the flick of the hair. I think that's quite nice.
No sign of the stalker, but Ramsay finds he's become a sex symbol.
He's tall, he carries himself well, and he's nice looking.
Fans are following him to every gig.
Here they take it totally to the extreme. It's like being a fucking movie star or something.
Day 6 and off to New Zealand. The schedule's been changed at the last minute, and Ramsay is greeted with the news that he's to appear on New Zealand's premier chat show with their biggest celebrity, Paul Holmes. And they're on air in an hour. Ramsay stormed off, leaving Hector to man the fort as usual.
We're just taking the piss. We're not actually in New Zealand, we're in bloody Dundee. We've done a detour and we're in Dundee. That's why, hence the weather. Anyway, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Seemingly what they're going to do now is they've changed it, so we need to go to the studio, film at 2:30, pre-record it for tonight to go out live at 7. Where's Gordon gone? And Gordon's gone to the hotel, very pissed off.
Hector's getting nervous, and he's worried about being Ramsay'd.
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes fucking mad, because, I mean, what the fuck is this shit, man?
The ingredients aren't right, and time's running out.
Well, in a moment for you, you will like this. Gordon Ramsay, rude, aggressive, savage on his staff, brilliant in the kitchen. Gordon Ramsay is next.
Hector's managed to replace sea bass with salmon, and he's off the hook. His boss, Ramsay, arrives just before Kiwi mega-celebrity Paul Holmes. With 5 minutes to go before they're on air, Ramsay's getting the star treatment from his host, who's even doing his makeup.
Great result of rugby last weekend. Although I don't think it'll be that easy this Saturday against the Springboks.
Don't you?
No.
Well, you know, you're a palm. What would you fucking know?
Holmes and Ramsay seem to be getting along famously, and the banter bodes well.
So, look at this. Here we are at Cafe Vinoteca. Those are funny names, don't they? The, you know, places that are selling food and stuff to do with that. And look, specially made chef's jacket. Over here is my new friend, Gordon Ramsay. Let me introduce you to people around here. This is one of Britain's finest chefs ever, perhaps the finest British chef ever. Gordon Ramsay. I know that because he's telling me before. No, I'm just kidding.
No, don't start.
No. And
don't start.
Bars to the sign, aren't they? Cloth.
They are.
I tell kids to fuck off now if they come up to me with a T-shirt. Oh, no, don't you?
He is one of the highest rated current affairs host in New Zealand. So he's New Zealand's equivalent to Terry White, basically.
And how long has the show been running?
The show's been running now for about 10 years.
10 years, and he has been
it. He's built it up from the start, yeah.
So he's a kind of, he looks a wee bit like Ronnie Corbett, kind of. He does look a bit like Ronnie Corbett. I think so. I think he does. It's that kind of character.
Yeah. So now he's New Zealand's celebrity TV person.
Day 7, Auckland. Ramsay's had a change of heart about Paul Holmes and has decided he doesn't like him. Though he hasn't seen the show, Ramsay's broadcasting his opinion to the New Zealand public.
I know you've only been here for a day, but any thoughts on New Zealand cuisine?
I'm not too impressed with Paul Holmes, put it that way.
What, his cooking skills?
Well,
no
both
cuisine.
really.
You had a dodgy assistant last night, though, I'd have to say.
Yeah, slightly dodgy. He looks a bit better now, out of his chef's jacket.
Listen, it is great to have you here, though.
Dan's like more entertaining than Paul Holmes, that's for sure.
We won't go there.
That is until he bumps into Paul Holmes in the TVNZ makeup room.
No, babe. You didn't see me.
You're not?
That was a tool. Fucking spanner. Best presenter in New Zealand. Hello, Paul.
How are you going?
Fine, how are you?
Are you brassed off with me?
No, I'm not pissed off with you. I'm pissed off with the person who edited that programme.
What happened?
I haven't seen it yet. I'm going back to the hotel in 10 minutes to watch it. I'll give you a call.
Why are you pissed off with it?
Sorry?
Why are you pissed off?
Because I've just been targeted all day how negative and bad it was. I haven't seen it yet.
Who's telling you that?
TVNZ.
Well, it's not. Gordon, come down to the office. Come down to the Home's office. Have a look at it.
I'll tell him.
Why stand there getting an argument with someone that's, you know, 3.5 foot tall? He insisted on seeing me in his office. I mean, big deal, big cheese. So, you know, I perhaps wrongly left through the back door, sneaked out the back door because, hey, if I got into confrontation with a guy, I'd end up lumping him. And he'd become 2.5 foot tall. Then I would be in trouble.
Well, I'm a controversial figure in this country, you know. I am, and I try and be innovative in the approach I take, and I try and do things in a sort of a new way. I've been doing this program 11 years. I try not to get stale. I mean, it was a fairly radical sort of approach for Gordon. I know he just got off the plane, but he seemed to enjoy it.
Thought the interview was tacky. I thought he was a prat, and I had to sort of laugh it off with him.
Walk out there now and get him. I'll have him on and say, what's this about? Don't you bloody start this with me. Try that for your bullshit for your kitchen in London, not here.
Ramsay's visit down under isn't going to be forgotten in a hurry.
There's a consensus among food writers that we should just leave him alone next time, not bother writing about him.
Has Ramsay burned all his bridges?
If he asked you to go again, would you go?
Probably not.
Next week on Beyond Boiling Point, Ramsay glitters with a literati. Gets one up on Marco.
He'll be on the phone to me, giving me a hard time. Why the fuck didn't you tell me?
And there are happy days for Marcus, but has the worm turned for Ramsay?
There's a point where you have to stop.
And there's no way on earth, young man, you're even going to attempt to make me look fucking stupid. Let's get that right.
Fresh from his tempestuous tour down under, Ramsay's basking in the glory of constant press attention. He's about to carry out his master plan, domination of the restaurant scene, trying to usurp his arch-rival, Marco Pierre White. Ramsay's continuing the rock star lifestyle. He's checked into an exclusive Mayfair hotel to prepare for the marriage of his business partner, Marcus Waring.
I'm very excited. I've been with Jane now 7 years now. I actually love her to pieces.
Marcus is marrying Jane in just 1 hour, but his best man Ramsay's in no particular hurry to get him to the church on time.
These are going on the trays, and the waiter's going to stand in front of all the tables and turn the trays upside down with the talking point. He wonders why I haven't written my speech. There's the first one.
Ramsay has briefed Marcus's brother Brian on photo surprises for his best man speech. Now a Michelin-starred chef, Marcus's past faces an overhaul by his supposed friend. But although Marcus is not in the mood for mucking about, Ramsay is.
What do you think?
What do you fucking think?
Does it look stubbly?
Yes.
Oh, does it? Let me ask him. Fuck you now. I can tell you're nervous.
Do I need a shave?
Okay.
I fucking shaved for your wedding.
Yeah, but I shaved last night purposely so I wouldn't come out in a rash.
Oh, please.
Are you alright now?
I'm fine.
Huh? Max. Don't go all soft on me now.
The wedding is at 1 o'clock. At 20 to 1, Ramsay is finally prized from his hairdryer and into a cab. But the traffic in the West End is heavy.
If the traffic's chaotic, should we walk?
Why don't we just go?
I'm going to take one last look at the totty. Look. Marcus. Look, totty! Look, totty!
At the church, Gordon's wife Tana and his daughter Megan have already arrived, and so has the bride. It's decided her limousine will drive around the block until the groom and best man show up.
They were telling me to drive around and go away for another 10 minutes because the groom wasn't here, but no panic.
Is this quite normal, or is that...
Not very often does this happen.
But there's more pressure on Marcus.
You're mine. You shouldn't be looking.
Yeah, no.
You should be setting an example.
Yeah, I am setting an example. What I'm trying to say is I can look, yeah,
on the menu,
and not touch or eat a canapé or muscal or even a fish course. You've got 15 minutes to decide whether or not you want to go and touch it
And eat it?
10, Gordon.
Oh, 10.
10. No, fucking hell. I'm so glad you find it so...
It's more relaxing this way.
It's not relaxing.
It is. You get
Do you realise what'll happen if I'm after the bride? Do you know the shit you're going to get for the rest of your life?
There's no way on earth they'll ever allow that to happen. It's 10 to 1.
What if Jane's driving down the road and she sees us running?
But the bride's back, and everyone's at the church, except the groom and best man. But still minutes away, Gordon doesn't let up for a second.
Drive round once more, don't worry.
Oh, no, straight down, mate.
You sure?
Straight down.
OK.
Stop fucking about.
Do you fancy a cafe latte?
And eventually, Marcus cracks.
Why is it?
Look at
Whenever I'm with you, I'm always in this shit.
No, but...
No matter what it is.
They arrive with barely a second to spare.
OK, Marcus.
But an hour later, even Ramsay can't prevent his favourite chef protege from tying the knot. And at least Marcus's honeymoon means that the coast is clear for Ramsay to dominate the restaurant scene. Back to business for Ramsay. But for Addy and Hector, on the fish and meat section of the kitchen, trouble is about to start. Customers have sent some food back, and Ramsay's not in a mood to be messed with.
Sorry? Butter, paper. Oh, fuck me. That's fucking going, OK? Shit.
Addy and Hector have been given just 20 seconds to rectify the undercooked lamb and scallops.
They're undercooked, David, yeah? Keep the pan hot, Addy. Just a flash when a hot pan, that's all, not a cold pan, yeah? We get it out. Get it out. Flash in a hot pan, David. Let's go. Lamb, please. Taj, redress that.
Yes, go.
Go. Lamb, they need more cooking. I want too short table. Just fucking spoons here.
Once the emergency is over, Ramsay lets rip on his main culprit, David Hector Dempsey.
They're undercooked. Excuse me, how many portions have you had to cook a day? They're undercooked. Can you hurry up? The table's gone, yeah? It's gone, the lamb sauce. One more lamb sauce. Put the pan on the fucking stove. The pan on the fucking stove. Oh, you fucking wombats, man. I've never seen a bunch of fucking idiots in my life. It's getting worse. When we're under pressure like that, yeah, you don't buckle.
Yes, go on.
Because then you make idiotic moves. You bring Sanjak out there, he passes back over.
Yes, go on.
He's going to look a bigger idiot than you if you put them on the plate.
Yes, go on.
How can scallops so big be cooked so quickly?
Can be gone.
Although Hector accompanied Ramsay on his tour down under, their buddiness is long gone. The kitchen is in chaos, including a nosebleed, and Ramsay's got some bones to pick.
David, I'm not interested either. You obviously are. Why is raw Saint-Jacques going out?
Shouldn't have gone. Not gone, shouldn't have gone.
Then the lamb comes back because it needs more cooking.
Yes, go on.
Then the Saint-Jacques come back because they're raw.
Yes, go on.
Then the sauce goes out, it's not even finished. Why are you doing this? Why don't you just slow down?
Yes, go on.
I asked you to flash the Saint-Jacques in a hot pan, you stick it in a cold pan, it's not even smoking.
Yes, go on.
So it turns it rubber. You still don't listen.
Behaviour like this has prompted strong debates in the press. One of his critic victims has even launched a campaign to fight back against the abuse.
My feeling is that we avoid battery chicken eggs, some of us, because we disapprove morally and ethically of the conditions in which the hens are kept. And if you applied the same logic to restaurants, you would boycott restaurants where food was produced in inhumane conditions in the kitchen.
Over a decade ago, two-star chef Michael Caine served an apprenticeship of hard knocks with Ramsay in a Parisian restaurant.
I don't think Gordon is, is somebody which has a mannerism which is unacceptable. He believes in something, and that something drives him. And that's important. That's a lesson to be learnt by all of us. But at the same time, what we've experienced is that there is a point where you have to stop.
Bollocks, you know. And there's no way on earth, young man, you're even going to attempt to make me look fucking stupid. Let's get that right. Do you understand? But raw Saint-Jacques, I'm not going to fucking tolerate. Do you understand? And when things are flying like that, one thing you stay, hey, it's composed. Not bouncing around, not getting us anywhere.
You don't find that level of violence or abuse in the kitchens of self-taught chefs. And you do tend to find it in the kitchens of chefs who have come up through the brigade system, and particularly from those chefs who have themselves been abused during their training. It's very similar to child abuse. If you are abused as a child, you are quite likely to go on to perpetrate abuse yourself.
Did anyone taste it?
And Ramsay fires off one last volley before concentrating on his master plan.
David, I'm going to go... David, someone's going to lose their job, you know that?
Morally, if he is producing food in those circumstances where people are treated badly, then customers can vote with their feet whether or not to go to his restaurant, and I will choose in future not to eat restaurant food produced in such a restaurant's kitchen.
Ramsay heads out of town to meet up with the godfather of the City of Chefs, Marco Pierre White. Now Marco's returned his Michelin stars, Ramsay wants his crown.
I saw it straight away. He was the boy who wanted responsibility. He wanted to progress, he wanted to go forward. But he's under pressure now, he's got to work hard now, hasn't he? Even as a young boy, he was better under pressure with Gordon.
But Marco's now determined to teach his former pupil the finesse that may help him win his third star. And what better teacher than the epitome of the country gentleman, Marco Pierre White. Today's lesson, deer stalking. With sunset approaching, the two kitchen maestros retire to a hide high above the hunting ground to await their prey. And Ramsay finds Marco's rule of absolute silence difficult to keep.
Oh, fuck.
But soon, unused to the lack of activity, Ramsay succumbs to sleep, to the displeasure of his mentor. As dusk falls, bored after an hour spent up a tree and nothing doing, Marco remains determined to show his upstart ex-employee he's still boss. He closes for the kill. But deer stalking in the sticks still has to grow on first-time hunter Ramsay, and it's not the real game on his mind. Ramsay's plotting a much bigger kill back in the big city, to snatch Marco's title as king of brick cuisine. Ramsay's temperament has driven him forward, but his temper has held him back.
Standing here like a fucking idiot.
So has he really got what it takes to be the next Marco Pierre White? With his expansion plans in mind, Ramsay's decided to dabble in customer relations with his own unique approach. And when they don't even turn up, it's Ramsay's employees who bear the brunt of his anger.
Did Paul turn up?
Voilà.
For the Lanesborough. Did they turn up? No, they didn't turn up.
8:30, yeah.
Yeah,
Combien tu charges maintenant? How many you charge now?
I'm fed up with it, you know. I'll tell you, it's every day.
Ramsay's restaurant managers give him frequent updates on attempts to contact the absentee customers. They're American tourists who don't realise what dangerous ground they're treading on.
They're unobtainable, and they're not even in London. Yeah. Let me just get this right. They phoned you on Monday and asked and begged you to change the reservation from Monday to Thursday. We done that. And who confirmed the table again for tonight?
We haven't called since.
And he phoned you personally and confirmed that table for 4 tonight. And now there's no show. 8:30 now, and then yeah, and £100 a head cancellation fee. As long as you got the confirmation call that they're coming tonight, and no one can contact them now. It's disgusting.
But at the last minute, the managers receive word that the customers are arriving after all.
Well, that's ridiculous. So now they're just making their own fucking... Now they're just dictating what time they're coming.
They were booked at 9:15.
The impression. Yeah, bullshit.
At least Ramsay refrains from going out to give his customers a piece of his mind.
Enlève table 2, monsieur. Go. Can you reach the pass, you? Wait. Slowly in your own time, Neil. 5 mosaic, please.
Ramsay Ramsay's obsession with restaurant domination means he's doing even longer hours than usual in the kitchen, and his absence is being keenly felt at home. His wife Tana is left to care for their twins and 2-year-old Megan, who's proving that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Megan's missing Gordon terribly. She's just got to the age where she wants to be with Daddy all the time. And to be honest, she's been a real handful since he's been away, because all she's wanted is Daddy, Daddy, and where is he? Every time the phone rings, she leaps on it, and every time I've sort of wanted to go somewhere, she thinks I'm going to disappear with him.
Ramsay couldn't make it to Megan's second birthday party, even though she'd posted him an invite.
She sent me an invite to the restaurant, care of her own headed Tweeny's notepaper, threatening me to come to the dinner party or her afternoon party with jelly and sandwiches. Unfortunately, I didn't make it.
Megan's a bit daunted by the prospect of her first day at school. It's a very special day for her, but unfortunately her father was too busy to go with her. Just 3 days later, Ramsay's home for the weekend, but Megan's school days have come to an abrupt end. A chip off the old block, she's been withdrawn from school.
I can't believe she got kicked out of school. Megan's in my naughty books. She's been a naughty girl. She's been temporarily suspended from school. Surprise, surprise. Now, how embarrassing is that? It's cost £1,000 for 3 months, and she only spent 3 days there, so I'm glad to see she's following in her mother's footsteps, certainly not like her father.
The Guildhall, London. In an attempt to raise his profile, Ramsay's accepted the invitation to oversee the cooking for the nation's famed literary elite at the Booker Prize. And it hasn't taken him long to find someone to Ramsay.
Jesus Christ. Look, you can't even see straight with that hat over his fucking eyes. Just explain to him to shut the fuck up for 5 minutes. He's not going to be like that in service, is he? Hey, excuse me. Shh.
Tana enters to take her seat with a literati, just as Ramsay corners his latest victim.
Get his legs and we'll put him in the oven. Hey, how old are you, Joe? How old are you? How old are you?
I'm fine.
He looks like that, I was going to say twat, but that's not fair, from the Mother of Pride advert. I didn't say twat, no? You know the man that bobbles down behind the van? Oh, that's why you wear it, you bald. Yeah. OK, now, got it now. He's got a fried egg on there.
Service is underway, and Ramsay checks how fast the head chef thinks he can serve 500 guests their main course.
We actually said 14, but I reckon 12.
12 minutes. 12 minutes. 500 colours, yeah. 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Now watching that fucking thing. Now we're timing it.
They've got the food out on time, but Gordon's not even dressed.
Blow tie? No. No, we don't need a blow tie now, do we?
The last guest to arrive, as usual, Ramsay takes his seat among the authors and critics. In the kitchen, the clock is about to start. The target is 14 minutes to turn over 500 covers. The head chef, working under Ramsay's direction, is unimpressed with the service and nearing his own boiling point.
We weren't fast enough. I wanted 14 minutes, it took me 14 minutes 50 seconds. So there'll be some ass kicking later.
As the wine flows, Ramsay runs into an old enemy, Amy Grubb, a critic that he's banned from his restaurant.
You have your favourites.
Really?
Harper's and Queen's is an influential magazine.
What you do?
What about that article you wrote about me being that arrogant bastard that has...
You were a complete...
You thought I was a complete what? Did you say the word C?
Yes.
Jesus. I mean, I never slag you off.
Gordon.
Oh, you said I was an arrogant bastard.
Yeah, but
that upset me.
But if his empire is to expand, Gordon must woo the critics back to his side.
I didn't fight with you.
No, but I was mean and horrible.
I just banned you.
Go and sit down.
Banning's not fighting, is it? No. No. See?
I think what you do is wonderful, dear.
Teamwork.
Congratulations.
Will you excuse me while I run
how
for a pee?
you made him into a proper person.
Though the real Ramsay is never too far away.
Boring old fart.
Ramsay's now ready to start an empire to rival Marco Pierre White's restaurants. He's devised a plan of attack on 4 separate fronts. New restaurants, more awards, a PR blitz and a new book. With a ghostwriter, of course.
I'm going to dictate it to Ros Denny, then she'll put it on her screen and then she prints it out like this. All nice and neat. She corrects the spelling. There's a brilliant spell check on her PC. Then the recipes come back to me. I proof them. She goes and makes them. Then they get filed.
With the writing sorted, it's sumptuous food photography next.
We're absolutely thrilled to welcome Gordon Ramsay to our list.
Then a charm offensive on the publishing company's sales force. And if that doesn't work, there are always Sarge's puddings to really soften them up. The last step in his publishing push, a flash book launch party at an exclusive venue. Ramsay's insisted on the right guest list, a smattering of chefs and lots of rock and rollers.
He's great. A full-on lad.
The only trouble is, few of them are shelling out for the book.
We needed Gordon to say, come and buy the book, which is absolutely Gordon, and he's not done that tonight. I'm so cross with him.
Now for stage 2 of Ramsay's plan to become the next Marco Pierre White. He's determined to outdo his former teacher on his own turf. The grill at the Café Royal is one of Marco's 11 restaurants in London, and it's the site for mega food critic Michael Winner's annual food awards party. Once Marco's turned up and greeted the gourmet film director, Ramsay faces a big test. Should he kiss Winner too? Gordon's won the top award.
Last year, Gordon got the award for politest chef in the country, and he didn't turn up.
Thank you, Michael.
Why do you all grovel to Michael Winner?
I understand how powerful he is, but he knows full well I do not lick his bottom.
Thank you, Tommy.
Not at all, thank you.
Having outwinnered Marco at the awards, Ramsay reveals his next strike at White's Kingdom, a press war.
Show me respect. That was the headline. I thought he was immaculately dressed in a pinstripe suit, great exposure, and a 4-page article.
Why are you so happy?
Well, 3 weeks after that, we just landed the cover of the Telegraph, and 75 pages. But given over 3 weeks, just to give them a bit of a chance to read so much editorial, when they phoned up to say that we'd like the shot on the cover, I thought, God, shall I ring him and tell him? But no. The best secret is in the surprise, the Sunday morning surprise. Then he'll be on the phone to me, giving me a hard time. Why the fuck didn't you tell me? Love it.
But despite all Ramsay's point scoring, with his books, awards and press profile, Marco still has 11 restaurants to his former pupils' 2. In 2001, though, Ramsay plans that this will change, and his core kitchen team are crucial to that dream.
At long last, located a site in the heart of Glasgow, I mean right in the heart of Glasgow, which could suit Hector, and a dream come true. Possibility of Mark becoming a tournant and overseeing the restaurants. I'll stay firmly put at Royal Hospital Road. Neil got slightly frustrated halfway through the year because he felt that he wasn't being given the reins. Neil will be elevated into Mark's position. We're in a negotiation now for a great site in Mayfair, and I've got a wonderful chef, Sarge, who's perhaps the most sort of flamboyant, charismatic young cook in that kitchen today.
With his grandiose schemes, Ramsay seems to think that he's finally outdone Marco at his own game.
I'm not his pupil.
But as they say in French kitchens, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
David, you're the worst cook in the kitchen. This is not, hey, David, play my bollock night again, David. Is it no? David, because that's not happening, you know that. So I hope that makes you feel good, yeah? Because I'm stuffed if I'm fucking... Hey, if I feel on top of the world...
The unborn point? Yeah, I am.
Sometimes talking to him is like talking to a piece of fucking driftwood. Unless he wakes up, he's got to go look for a new fucking job.